tremendous amount of credit. I love their team. I like Penn State's team a lot. I said it in pregame. Their pieces fit. Point guard who's just size, gets it wherever he wants, and Gardner's a shooter, and Reeves, who had a limited night, but a pretty effective one. Just slice and slash and guards, and then you've got Stevens, who's just a baller. I mean, he does everything, and he took over the start of the second half. And then you got Watkins 5 for 5 at 10 points, and protects the rim. All those pieces come together. But the best thing about their team that I like, and that team should be in the NCAA tournament. That's an NCAA tournament team. They got great opportunity to prove that, the rest of the way. But they played high school together. A lot of them. But I love Gardner. I mean, that kid is talking and competing. He had a poor shooting night by his standards, and he never let it affect him. Played well the first half. Thought we got the ball where we needed to get it. We did it for the most part without Trent and LaRon and Greg, and yet shoot 50% or whatever, 48, and then the second half was just, I wish we could eliminate half times. I don't know. We didn't run anything. We jogged cuts, and we're a team right now that one mistake and we just hang our heads, and it affects the next play, and we've got to get by that. And then it was pretty disappointing towards the last. I've been doing this for a long, long time, and everything that I'm about is passion. That's me. I coach that way. If you guys can't tell that, I coach that way. And I live my life that way with a passion and a zest. I love basketball. And I want each and every one of those kids to be successful and to go to the NCAA tournament. Today I wasn't very pleased with that locker room. I wasn't very pleased with who that locker room became today. And that frustrates me for them. I've got to do a better job. We got to identify who we are. It's a good basketball team we lost to, but still, not what I liked. Not what I liked. And I can't be the only one. It's amazing. They're sitting on the free throw line in an 18, 17, 16-point game, and they're still talking about matchups and who they've got and blah, blah, blah. And they're almost fighting about who's going to guard Trent. And that's competing. That's competing. Quiet teams lose. I've said it since the day I got the job. Quiet teams lose. That's a team that doesn't lose. There's a reason they've got 18 or 19 wins, whatever they've got. So I have tremendous respect for what Pat's done and put that team together.
Brad, we mentioned a couple things a lot. One's recruiting and getting players who fit what you want, but two is culture. Which one of those right now is more concerning for you?
I've got a pyramid that sits on my board. I put on my board in my office, and it's pretty much what I've lived by: talent, character, preparation, result. And this sounds really trite, maybe. I've never worried one game about winning and losing. I don't worry about winning and losing at all. Because I know if the other stuff is in place and the process is right, more often than not, winning and losing will take care of itself. So, talent's the biggest part of it. We're at the high major level. There's pros. Penn State's got them. We've got pros. And everybody else in this league has pros. Everybody in the Big 12 has pros. Most teams in the SEC have pros. Most teams in the ACC have pros. And yet, character is a huge part of what we're trying to build. And not doing what we did today bothersome. Bothersome. I was never the most talented team at Stephen F. Even in my own league, I wasn't. But we were the best teammates we could be, and we fought the hardest, we competed the hardest, and we tried the hardest. I mean, go look at my West Virginia game in the NCAA tournament. I didn't put anybody on the court over 6'4". Against their guys, they got pros. Yet it's what I live by. It's the process. The process has to win out, and the culture has to win. And yeah, you have to have good players. Absolutely, you've got to have good players because everybody else has them. And that's we're young. We're young. We're going to develop. We're going to get guys that doing what they do. And I tell everybody this all the time. As you can't become great until you've dealt with adversity. Until you've had to go through some struggles to become great. I knew what this would be, but I didn't like the locker room today.
You mentioned how you feel like Penn State fits together. Just how do you feel like at this point in the season you found your team fits or doesn't fit in that regard? Just what's kind of been like trying to figure out those pieces?
Well, I think the one thing that's been that we keep fighting for doesn't have very little to do with, I mean, the basketball piece. That's evident. You guys can tell the basketball piece. Leadership. Who's leading? If a coach has to lead, then that's not going to be a great team. It's not. And we're still, you know, it's amazing how leadership becomes contagious. And one guy just trying to will his team. 33 did that today for them. And it doesn't matter who. Katie Bates does it for Ohio State. You can go right on down the list, and you have to have it. And Scott, that's what I'm fighting every day to try to identify. I put my heart and soul into trying to help lead them and be passionate for them. But I also can't want more than they do.
Michael Finke not playing tonight. Can you give us an update on his status?
Not really. You know, concussion protocol is obviously something that we take very seriously, and he's got you know, he was watching the game from the training room, and that's just a day-to-day process. I guess the process of concussion protocol is pretty much laid out, and until he is seen on Monday, you know, we won't know any different. But I know there's a process with that as well. So I would think day to day, and then we'll see from there. But we miss Mike. Mike's our voice.
Would you say with Mike? Would you say the offense maybe got a little out of sync, maybe with the spacing? Just used to having that stretch 4, stretch 5 on the wing, but instead you have 2 guys in the paint now. Yeah,
I think there's, you know, and I think that's part of it. I think the second thing is they did a really good job. They put a lot of size and a lot of physicality on Trent. I watched them guard Cowan and bother him a lot at Maryland. And you're putting Reeves on him, who's 6'5", 6'6", and tall and lanky and long, and then they did a very good job of keeping him funneled into Watkins. They didn't let him get back to the middle of the court, and Trent rushed a few things, but yeah, spacing. The game's about spacing. I mean, I just watched Cleveland before the game, and now all those guys, they just run. They play fast and they space because they can shoot the basketball. That's what the game is today. Creating space. LeBron had an unbelievable 18 today. Because every time I turn around, there's so many people hovering around him in the paint, and we have to move the ball. We have to get the ball side to side. You can't just come down and run one pass or dribble entry and throw him the basketball because we don't move the defense.
Rebounded the ball pretty well in the first half, especially on the offensive end, and Penn State sort of evened that in the second half. What was the difference there?
Effort. I mean, we were tremendous. That's who we have to be. You know, and again, I'm going to use the West Virginia game again. Hugs will probably be ticked, but we shot 32% in that game and had a 20-point lead because we built the offensive glass. When the ball doesn't go in, you better figure another way to score. And that's who this identity of this team has to be. Well, it shows our effort. To be very honest, Scott, it shows our effort the second half. I don't worry about missed shots. I can't control it. I can't control that. What I should be able to control is the effort with which guys go to the glass. And we were good the first half. And Greg gets 3, LeBron gets 4. DeMonte impacted the game the first half on the glass, and then pretty much nothing else.
Brad, back here at the back. What did you see or not see from your team after that 5-point swing at the end of the half? Maybe something you'd like to see? Was the demeanor down then, just with the swing there?
Well, they were getting on their guys at half, and I told our guys. I mean, we heard every word from the coach's locker room. But that's one of the small things in the game that's really important. We got the opening tip, and I think Tijon turned it over on a switch where he kind of got up back on his heels. Then we turn it over on the inbound. Mark steps over the line. You know, if I had that to do all over again, I wouldn't have called the timeout. But it was the burn play, and we've got a last-second play that was a great opportunity to try to run, which was coming wide open. But now they score on the inbounds, and that's been a problem for us. And guarding baseline outs. And Wisconsin scored 10 points on it. I tried every game to be +6 on baseline outs. And then I think Kip got beat. And then they get the ball to start the second half. And that's one of those times you score and there's 2 consecutive possessions without the other team getting the ball. It's a little thing in basketball. And it's one thing we try to always do. That's why last-second timeouts are important. But still, all that being said, we were down 1. But that time frame was huge. They shot an air ball, kicked it out for a wide open 3. I mean, they missed it so bad that it was hard to even rebound. But that one didn't bother me as much as the turnovers and the inbounds.
Was Kipper at all affected today with sinuses like Thursday night, or was he fully healthy tonight?
I think he was fully healthy. Thank you.